about it before we start the car. So I did one on Friday. He charged me $580 to start the car, basically. Can we do that on that, or so basically a new ECU?
Yeah.
$1,500, put it in the car, and then I had to get him to come in.
It was a blank ECU. Yeah. GM's one of the best. I was only saying to Nigel before how wonderful GM is. It's probably the easiest one of all of them to do to.
As long as the laptop charged me like $600.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, see, we need to know this information because, you know, I didn't know that. So thank you for sharing that information with us.
Happy to.
We're sort of running out of time a little bit. What I want to do, I do want to open the floor up for some questions.
Make them easy.
Yeah. But before I do, I've just got one more question left. What do you think would be the two most important areas you feel the trade needs to address and why, as in 2019?
Okay, well, that's a tough one. Let me just check my notes. So honestly, I think one of the biggest problems we have is, as you guys have just seen here, is lack of access to information. It's the information might be there, but it's how to find it, obtaining that information, and that also transposes over to our techs. Like, I couldn't tell you how many times I've spoken to workshops. We've got guys that are getting towards the end of their apprenticeships and they're still learning rudimentary things. They don't understand how to diagnose properly. They don't understand, you know, we have sometimes when we hold our training at TAFEs, I've quite often, when Dave Walker's doing the auto techs, we'll have TAFE guys in there. And me being the kind of guy I am, as you saw me up the back there, I couldn't help but speak up. I always speak up. I'm just like that. Whether you like it or not, I can't help it. And I remember not long back, I talked about fault codes and running and setting criteria of fault codes. You know, when a fault code runs and when a fault code sets, as in runs and fails. And this TAFE teacher, there's two of them there, had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah. So I believe that the biggest problems that we're seeing at the moment is we're not training our technicians well enough. When that's coupled with the technology at the rate that it's growing at, I'm seeing there's a big gasping hole there somewhere. You know, and I simply don't know how we're going to fill it. We have constant growing in technology, the needs for us to be skilled to be able to fix some of these new systems that are coming out. And at the same time, we've got these online third-party booking companies. I'm not going to mention any bloody names, but we've got, you know, they're forcing us down, making us charge less because that's how the consumer's driven. They're driven about price. It's all about price, isn't it? At the end of the day, you guys, when you go out and buy stuff, a lot of the time you put price before quality. I know I'm guilty of it, you know. I remember back, you know, my father, back in that era, quite often people did put quality first. But for some reason, our mindset these days is if we can get a bargain, we're going to take it, you know. And it's a bad thing because when we've got these third-party places taking 18% off us and then for each thing and then a commission for everything, the customer that's using that service is looking for the cheapest one anyway. So we end up with this downward spiral. You know, where we want better technicians. The only way we're going to get better technicians is if we pay them more, inspire them to become great technicians. Instead of them being, you know, engineers or whatever they might have done in another trade, we need to show them that the money's in our trade for them to come on board with us.
That's correct. Yep.
But then the customer doesn't want to spend the money. So, you know, how do we fix that? There seems to be something really broken. And I think we somehow need to educate, and it's just, the word somehow just is meaningless in this situation. We need somehow for the customers to know what we're worth, and I don't know how we will ever get that across to them. And the way we don't do it is by signing up to these third-party services. It's the worst, biggest backstep we've ever taken in our industry in years. You know, and there's even people in this room that have actually started supporting them. You know, I believe AAA is behind them, aren't they? Some of these third-party, have I got my wires crossed?
We're agnostic.
Yeah, good. You stay that way. Yeah. So yeah, that's I think if in a crunch, that's where our biggest problems lie in the future is how the heck are we going to get skilled tradesmen when we're being forced to keep undercut? Did anybody here see that video recently by Dick Smith about the bookings.com?
Yep.
You know, that's an eye-opener to me. That was an eye-opener to me. I used to use bookings.com. As soon as I watched that video, that was it.
Yeah.
I'm never ever using bookings.com again. Right? We need something like that that has that sort of impact for these booking companies. You know,
Yeah.
they are parasites. They really are. You know, they sit in front of a computer doing nothing, and they're taking 18% off every job, and they're taking I don't know what off every month out of for things. And then I heard the other day somewhere or read somewhere that they're selling customers' details now. They're trying to sell off your details. And another thing I read only the other day was that even members that have said, I don't want to use you anymore, they're using that information in their Google search, in their search engine optimization. So like Marina Motors, me, I might have been with them once. I wasn't, but let's just say hypothetically I was with them. They had all my details. I cancel my subscription with them. They keep my details. And then when somebody comes into Grafton and types mechanic in Grafton, Marina Motors comes up, but it's not my website. It's that third-party mob's website with Marina Motors written there. So that they click that and go through them. So the customer then tries to book me through the people that I tried to cancel with. So they're using me to plug their own company. It's a mess.
It's terrible.
It's a mess.
Hey Rod, don't forget, it's not 18%, it'll be 25% because they also plug the Afterpay.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
you've already agreed to the
That's right.
price,
Yeah.
and they're going to promote Afterpay like everyone will, and maybe everyone will go that way. But if your price is already set, 7% as well as the 18%. So suddenly you're at 25% straight off the top of your bill.
How are we supposed to have good technicians when we're undercutting ourselves like that? Well,
Rod, do you think as an industry we're not actively promoting ourselves?
Let's just open the floor up now too, because we're running out of time. We've got a bit.
I agree. Like we've just recently advertised, and most of us here to try and get technicians. There's not a lot out there. I don't think our industry is actively promoting how good our industry is. And my wife made a good statement the other day. She said, people don't understand how much we need to know. You know, and just exactly what you're saying, the same deal. There's no one, or we are not, maybe through Nigel, we are not promoting how good we are. You know, we are good at our jobs.
We are.
We are worth a lot of money, and why aren't we, as a group, as an identity, attacking the schools, saying, don't go to uni, be a mechanic, because you can earn X.
Yeah.
You know, or not necessarily X, but like I say to some of my guys, the greatest part about my job is if I leave my business today, I have a job tomorrow. And I can go anywhere in the world and have a job.
That's right.
How many other people, if you're an engineer, can you go over to the other side of the world and get a job like that? No.
Yeah,
In
that's right.
saying that too, Craig, one of my sisters works at a primary school, and the principal's son was going to take once or twice a week. He's in year 10 going to year 11. He wanted to become a mechanic.
Good.
And she said that he was told, don't bother being a mechanic, mate, because everything's going technical, electronic, and you're not going to be required anymore. And that's coming from a TAFE teacher.
Yeah.
And that is just so wrong.
Lack of knowledge. They don't understand. Yeah. It's it's a big problem. But you know, like, you think about when my father was a motor mechanic, right, and I first started out. We was, like I said, I didn't have a scan tool. There was still very little electronics. This is back in the mid 80s to late 80s. And we didn't take offence to being called grease monkeys too much, you know. The mentality is that we are grease monkeys still today. You know, as much as we, yeah, I'm talking consumers' attitude. So I'm real quick to call myself a technician, and anybody I speak to, I try to avoid the word mechanic these days. But unfortunately, I think it's going to take decades before that mentality of us being grease monkeys and just mechanics. You know, like, how many times have you had a customer in at your office and they said, oh, my brother's a mechanic, or my uncle's a mechanic? And they're not. Guaranteed they're not. They just own a toolbox and they know how to undo and do up a bolt. They call them a mechanic because they own a toolbox, you know. You know, they're so quick. You know, anybody can be a mechanic in their eyes. That's the attitude they have. You know, and it could take decades for us to change that attitude.
But should we start?
Yes.
Yes. Like we have an access to the federal government and through Nigel, for example. Why aren't we now actively promoting what we do?
We need to. We need to educate them.
We're talking about how we do it.
And how do we do that? And like you said, our value is here. We really need to be here, not in our perspective, but the public's perception of our business.
Exactly.
You know, we all run clean ships. We all run.
But the other thing, Craig, it comes down to your target market too.
Oh,
So
of course,
us as our brand, our target market is late model motor cars.
Yes.
So I suppose what we do is go up against the dealer any day of the week. And so there is affordability for our customer, because if they're comparing us to the manufacturer, and I'm doing a Hyundai i30 and I can fix it for $600 as opposed they can fix it for $1,200, there's affordability. So what I'm saying is we're targeting those type of people. We haven't got shopper dockets, we don't discount, we don't do any of that.
But
we can't afford to.
I don't mean to argue that, but I'm good at playing devil's advocate, and I'm going to say, why should we be $600 to their $1,200? Didn't we do the job just as well?
No, I'm not talking about a service. What I'm talking about is something that I thought was worth $600, but the manufacturer, told the person it was $1,200.
Yeah, I understand.
After I did the job.
I understand what you're saying,
Yep.
but I don't think. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm stuck on that value. I just don't think we should ever be a different price to the dealer. What we offer, our skills, probably is greater, as we were talking before. We do so much more than the dealers most of the time. We've had to train. We cover.
But you could never charge more than the dealer. You wouldn't get the work. It's just that simple, because you can't.
What if, as a nation, now this is just hypothetical, as a nation, if we all woke up on Monday morning and all said we're all going to be $250 an hour.
Yep.
That's what I think it should be like. That's what I think it should be like. You know, it's the only way they're going to change their attitude.
Yep.
And that comes back to our work. You know, you just selling or promoting what we're worth. We're not promoting ourselves. We're not selling ourselves.
No, we're not.
We sell ourselves to our clients.
Core image.
Yes, and we need to improve our image.
Look, it comes down to licensing too. Like, my son wants to be an electrician, right? The first year electrician gets about $600 or $700 a week. What does a first year motor mechanic get? That's what I'm saying. Sorry? It was 57 when I did it. But I suppose, there is another issue, Nigel, isn't it? Is licensing. I've always been big for licensing because then you're creating a body of people that are ASE accredited. You know what I mean? It all sort of falls into place.
It does. That's where I'm getting confused with the ASE thing. Because if it's an Australian national accredited award, right, then the mechanics can demand, that's where it all comes from, is relating the qualifications to awards. Yeah. And that's what's confusing me with the ASE chat, is because that might be fine, but it's not a scenario where someone can come in and say, well, I'm accredited from an American-based thing with an ASE accreditation. But in Australia, they won't qualify for any particular award.
No, but they're rolling that pilot program into Australia, and then they will Australianise the program.
And what Australianise it? But what I'm confused with is when you regulate it in the other states with you, and am I not correct with this? That when you're a tradesman in New South Wales, you have an accreditation, and that comes with an award.
Award rate, is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, they're all better.
Yeah.
But what it basically means is it accredits you with an award wage that you're entitled to because of that.
Yeah.
And I've got a terrible suspicion that the scenario is that we're avoiding that because there's so many franchises now that aren't running mechanics.
No. But see, there's the issue, Pete, because
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be
once you become a tradesman, you don't do any more training. What mechanics, they don't, like if you're at Goodyear, you don't do any more training as a tradesman. So you're going, so if there was training out there, training resources, current training resources like the ASE, wouldn't that be better for your staff? Ongoing?
Haven't we got to have a basic starting point of a national recognised accreditation system?
Well, I think that's what this possibly could be.
So it'll become Australianised, and Australian government recognises it, and that's the new norm. I can't see it.
Two things. The Australian government to recognise it and to have an industry recognised accreditation scheme. So we're starting there because we've gone down the path with government and it's just a flood. So what this is in the US as it actually would be here is
That's our membership.
recognised accreditation. It can leverage off at a consumer level to raise the profile and get the value that we should be getting. Because we're seen to have...
I know, but I have a different tack. I would love to see where we are recognised as mechanics nationally through the Australian government, and we have an award that comes along with that, or better.
I agree. That would be the best. That would be the ultimate. But I don't think it'll ever happen.
Where they're not allowed to do mechanical work.
Yeah, but everyone's a mechanic who walks into Supercheap or Repco on Saturday morning and they can change their bloody brakes.
Yep.
They can fit
And
suspension
that could be the
components.
next level of where that goes.
You go to Bunnings and it's got, do not fit this PowerPoint, must be done by a licensed technician.
That's right.
See, I can
And
never
then you go and buy brakes. Go and buy brakes from Supercheap.
Yeah.
You can't have mechanics
Yeah.
being paid mechanical wages
No.
fitting tyres all day.
Well, I think-
But what you can do
Yeah.
is you can have tyre fitters when there's no tyres to fit to do a timer belt.
Yeah.
They're not qualified
No.
for that, and they shouldn't be touching it.
Yeah.
But I've seen on YouTube how to do it.
It is.
So I'd love to
5
know
o'clock.
how ASC would change that.
We've got to be out.
It would actually become a scenario where tyre shops would go, well, here's a great opportunity. We can do training with ASC, which is nothing nationally recognised.
Yeah.
They could have an ASC thing on the front of their Bridgestone thing. They're all tyre fitters, but they've got ASC accreditation. It almost, for me, it doesn't seem as if we'll protect our industry in any way.
Yeah, but I suppose, Pete, in defence to, there are some tyre shops that have fully qualified mechanics that do good work.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But the majority of them don't.
The majority of them don't.
And
Yeah.
can I just say as well, like, to be able to do an ASE accreditation, it wouldn't just be able to start to be managed by potentially us. And so entering into an ASE accreditation, you would have to...
It's not as easy as your
This
money
is
now.
additional...
They're very hard tests. Very hard tests. So.
Yeah.
Go, like I said before, Google test ASC test preps. There's lots of them online. You'll be surprised how hard they are.
Well, look,
Very
we're
hard.
we're going to have to wrap it up. But look, on behalf of the Future Group, Rod, we really appreciate what you've done for us this afternoon. Really appreciate it.